Hi
Hello,
everyone.
everyone.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Right, so Leslie, how you doing? All good?
Hi, Phil. Yeah, I'm not bad. Are you? Are you all
I'm
right?
smashing. Peter,
Fantastic.
All
how are
right,
you?
yeah, not bad.
Good.
Good.
Uh, so Leslie, I'll let you kick it off on what it's going to be about today,
Well,
mainly.
we didn't put a poll on the page, so it's just anything and everything, whatever you want to talk about in
Hmm.
paranormal. So yeah,
Well, first of all, we could probably talk about what we did last week.
yes, at Cubley Hall. Hi,
Hmm.
Christopher. We've got Christopher Irving on.
I,
Yeah, we went and had a good night, didn't we, Phil?
do you know, uh, like you know, Leslie, I don't normally go on the spirit boards. But because I comfortably know these, know Andrew and all that, who's in the team, I was comfortable going on, and I've got to admit that was probably one of the best sessions I've ever sitting watching.
Yeah, yeah, it were mental, really.
Hi,
Um,
Christopher.
Hi, Christopher. We started off in one section of the building, didn't we, with the automatic writing board, and it
Yeah.
was just nothing was happening for ages. So we're like, oh, this is just no go. Let's go into a different area and get Ouija board. So we went in another part of the building, and it was started off again quite slow, but then oh god, it was amazing, wasn't it, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, Peter, I'm not quite sure. Have you ever heard at Cubley Hall?
I have now.
It's in
No,
Penistone.
so that's no really, but I have now, obviously.
Yeah. Uh,
Where is
Hi,
it?
Drew.
Penistone.
Oh,
Hi, Drew.
how
Yeah.
old is
Yeah,
it then? What's history on it and all that? If you want to say that, if
yeah.
you're,
That actually, I was just wondering, Leslie,
yeah,
if you
Well,
knew any back history of it.
well, it was. It started off as what they used to call a pocket farm, um, and then it got built as a private residence. Later on, after World War II, it became an orphanage, and then now it's like a restaurant stroke hotel. Built in. I can't remember the date. You put me on the spot.
so do
Let me,
all
let me just get my notes. Just bear with me a sec.
Yeah, by all means.
so did you
Yeah,
hear whether staff get ear bangs and crashes and things
Well,
like that?
I was talking to a housekeeper the other day. I popped up because
Yeah,
I'd forgotten something, and
yeah.
I was asking her, and she says in a couple of the rooms where people stay, in room 2 herself, she's heard a lady crying,
Mm-hmm.
which we all sort of are thinking it's probably Flo, who is their resident spirit who visits, comes and goes quite often. We found out through the Ouija board that Flo had lost a child, and it came out that the child was 2, and the child fell down a well. And unbeknown to us, we didn't realise there was a well there until we went down to the cellar, didn't we, Phil? And
yeah,
Andy and I think it was you. Was it you, Phil? Phil and Andy, I think. We found this like little hole. So Andy shoved his camera through, took some pictures because obviously he couldn't see because it was dark, and he sent me a picture day after, and people had thrown bottles down it, and it was like all boarded up. It was the well that had been all filled in. So obviously we didn't know about this well, and then went on Ouija board later on, and we found out that this child of Flo's had fallen down this well, hence filling the well in. But it was quite an emotional. I thought it was quite an emotional session. Really, I got quite a bit upset inside because Flo apparently she used to come back and visit in spirit to the orphanage looking for her child, and there were sightings of her sat at the edge of many of the kids' beds, like as if she was like watching over them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite emotional, really.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, to me, it were more confirmational
Yeah,
for me because hearing such as George come through and names that were coming through the board, were actually previous tenants.
There were, yeah. George was apparently Flo's father, but I think there was another George that moved in after, and I think that may be the George that we actually was communicating with, not Flo's father, because it was saying that on the board that he died when he was 47, and Flo's father died at 70 odd. So I don't obviously think that it was him. I think it was this other George. I think he was called George Chapman, I think. But yeah, so I was chatting with the housekeeper, and she was telling me about she could hear a lady crying, and then in another room, apparently, people who stayed there have felt something sit on the bed and actually try and get in the bed. And I only found this out the day after we'd actually done the investigation, which I find interesting, and that's been reported a few times. So,
Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if I can get a picture of that Jubilee Hall, so that everyone's got a good idea on look. It's actually Jubilee Hall's got a Facebook page, you guys.
it has, yeah.
I will send links. Looks like a nice pub as well, doesn't it? You know, nice to sit down and probably even have a meal.
I met Sue day after, like I say, Sue from the team. I'd forgotten something, and after I'd finished talking to the housekeeper, she'd left because she'd finished work. Me and Sue went in. We had a cup of tea, and it was so nice. And we sat on the exact same table where we did the Ouija board. And I did run my EVP recorder to see if anything would come through. I've not actually reviewed it yet, but I will do. But yeah, it was built, well, it goes as far back as the early 1800s, this place.
That's it. Jubilee Hall.
I thought I had a feeling it weren't going to be big.
No, it won't be.
I just had that feeling. Well, where Leslie described it, I just thought it's just going to be a small lot, like all like, you know.
Well, on the right hand side of the picture downstairs, the right hand window, we started off in there with the automatic writing board, and there was absolutely nothing at all. But so then we decided to move, and we went into where you can see on the picture is the left hand window downstairs, and that's where we got all the activity from the Ouija board.
But what you don't know, though, Peter, is that actually there's a barn building. What they have weddings and functions at the side of it. Now I can actually remember John saying when he entered that building, and quite a lot of people went to the other side to building straight away, and John was quite back, and he heard a woman's voice in his ear. Obviously drew my attention, and I were doing to base readings to see if there were any, EMF or any appliances or wiring that could have affected or like that, and there weren't. They were all dead. So it's fascinating, and people has actually said and witnessed that they do hear voices in that barn, normally in the kitchen area when there's no one in. Which it's interesting. So you've got a couple of things going off, at once.
We got K2 flashing as well when we were doing the Ouija board as well, and also I saw a weird figure on my arm, and it made me look down, and I thought, what was that? So when you try to sort of recreate it, and I'm moving me, and I couldn't get this shadow from anything, so I don't know what that was. And then Andy all night felt like he'd got a broken neck, so we were asking questions on Ouija board and stuff, and it came out that we found out that somebody had hanged in the attic. Was that George, Phil?
George? And it were a sad story as well that came through. So it's not like we could have actually made this up. We actually did record that session.
There's a well. There's that point that like really like strong water source or sources nearby to there?
Yes, because it cuts in it must cut into a stream.
Yeah.
Well, didn't your John Phil though say that used to be a moat?
Yes,
Well,
apparently
yeah.
back in 16th century there used to be
It
a
was
moat.
a moat, yeah.
So yeah,
Mm.
so it's a colourful. It's got a colourful history even back to 16th century. So you know it's an interesting place.
It's a very interesting place.
Because they said there's a lot of like bathrooms that are haunted, didn't they? And toilet rooms generally, and that because of the water. So like you know, when you get a strong water course under a place, I think it like opens things up a bit. You know.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, that actually could be a contribution to activity in that building. Definitely. I mean, wherever there's a stream, there's also a ley line. So there could be a running ley line going through that building
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Well, when I were at work, like this house got right haunted, really bad, and I found out from an old map that there were a well on site there. And when I were looking recently into time slips up in Liverpool, there's this road up there, and there's a shop on that road, and it's got a well in it. Well, you go in the shop, and there's a well in the shop.
Oh, God.
So
Man.
it proves that it's coming from Mersey, right under that road, and also the underground train system runs under there as well. And they think that this mixture, you know, like the well system and all that coming from Mersey, and also the underground network, it's causing them time slips up in Liverpool. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really something. I wouldn't like to be property owner if all goes
So-
wrong.
So yeah, anywhere we are well, watch out.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Well, and running trains doesn't sound very good, but
No.
you know.
Phil, can I just check something with you? Somebody just messaged me saying that they can't see this link, this live on page. Can you just double check it for me, please?
Which page?
TSP page.
It's on your page. Yeah.
No, I
It's
don't know why
ticked.
she had trouble last week, unless it's that's weird.
Maybe try another browser. She's got
Yeah,
one.
it could be browser. People seem to use Firefox, Safari,
Yeah.
and sometimes you get really real problems with that Safari. I'm just looking now to see on group page if not group.
I'll
The
try.
live's on your actual page, not your group page. Probably.
Right, hang on. I'll tag her in it.
And do you think, Phil, like, you know, when we're on about wells, do you think people don't stumble across the history? Do you think they get overlooked? Because there were quite a lot of these wells about, weren't there?
Oh, definitely. Do you know what? Boiler. I'm not seeing you live on your page.
I know.
Obviously,
You
a
put it to
Facebook.
page and not group.
No,
might be right.
it's your page.
Let
I'll
me
have a look.
I'm gonna copy him thingy. Hang on a sec. Right, I've copied because
Unless I put it in your group. Yeah, it's in your group. Let me just get a link.
she's
Yeah,
she's on. She can see it, I think now.
it's in group. So, guys, if you're looking, well, it's a little bit awkward now, isn't it? Because no one, yeah. So, yeah, you get it.
Hiya, Nigel. Hi, Vaughn. I'm just gonna say
I've got an error on StreamYard
Hi,
when
Vaughn.
it comes
Hi,
to your
everyone.
page, Leslie, to be honest. So what I'm
Alright.
going to have to do is I'm going to have to sort that out. Next time it'll be all right, guys. Yeah, so
Hi,
TSP
Robbie, as well.
group.
Oh,
So I'm going to give a shout out to, is it Vaughn?
Yeah, Yvonne couldn't get on, so that she's on now.
Yeah.
Hi, Yvonne.
Hiya to Nigel. Thank you for sharing. And he's definitely from the North Pole.
Hello, Nigel.
So yeah, actually, John's turned up late as ever.
Hello, John. Hiya, John.
He'll be on very shortly. So yeah, Wells, you were saying, Peter. Sorry.
Yeah, do you think they get generally overlooked, the like history of things? Do you think some people go in without looking for like water courses and that, and establishing that there's a well there and stuff like that?
No, I don't think a lot of people take note of ley lines, energy that water gives off.
Yeah,
I don't think people do take that into consideration, and I think they should, because you
I
know,
do.
I mean, look at dowsing rods. They were used back in a gosh knows when, and you know they were there to find oil and water and springs. You know what I mean? So you know there must be something or some sort of energy being picked off by wells and streams for these dowsing rods to pick up and show you.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not allowed to tell you who, but a friend of mine owns a pub, and it's a very haunted pub, loads of activity, and they discovered a well under the bar,
All right, yeah.
and it makes you wonder: is that why there's so much activity there?
Well, like for reasons I've said, I think so.
I mean, that's where stone tape theory then comes in too, then, doesn't it? Like a carbon copy of something that could have happened and then it's looping. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's that possibility, definitely. You know, it's
But
like,
sorry.
yeah, go on, Peter.
Phil.
Start.
I mean, aren't these wells now, these ancient wells, what I found, are they like empty now? There might be a water course nearby, but have they kind of like, are they not active anymore? And if so, was it the fact that they once ran and, I don't know, it opened something up way back when?
Yeah, perhaps, yeah.
Wow.
You know, because I don't know whether water's flowing through them. You know, I just don't know.
Wells, right? So, to my understanding, a well, yeah, water runs through, doesn't it? So a well, it's just it's a drop that that you feed and take that from. If it can either rise or it stays to a certain amount. So,
But
yeah,
if they get filled in and stuff, nothing's not going to run through it, is it?
Yeah.
In modern times.
What they'll do is they'll just cap it.
Yeah.
To a certain level. But
the actual big flow of water that went through them must have been when it were active. So.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So was it? If they are causing activity, was it? Yeah, like historical, some historical on environment that's opened some up, and it's always remained open since.
Yeah, well, I thought we had to have permission to go to wells. Yeah, most probably would do. Yeah, in this case, what we were talking about with this investigation that we went to, it had a well in its basement. We didn't go down it. We didn't have to have permission because we had permission to the building. But yeah, we didn't go down it at all. But we didn't know that, and even owners didn't even know they had a well in the basement.
No.
So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. Right. So John. Sorry. You said it down.
Just doing some sharing.
Well, I'll just say, Phil, sorry for banging on about wells, but
Yeah.
at the house, what I said were that were an old well, and it had been long filled in. That one at work, and I got all maps out from like turn of century when it was showing, and then it had obviously been filled in, and obviously activity were going into this century, like 100 years plus on. So if it was the well at fault, then it's doing its business still, like so.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
So, rightly so, you can actually get told off for trying to access wells. They are protected, but there were a time when they weren't, and that's probably a time when these wells get filled in. For reasons some people don't probably want a well, in the house. So yeah, but they are protected now because obviously the wells are very rare, aren't they? And it is connected to a water source. So yeah, it's interesting, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like she was saying, great find though. Finding a well in a building, definitely. Yeah, it got my attention. Like I say, even owners didn't know that it were. But there were also weird that basement, that cellar though. I said basement, cellar. Leslie, a lot of it were capped off, weren't it?
It was odd because when we went round where well were at the other side of that section at cellar, Joe picked up on a child spirit crying sat on them stairs, but them stairs were really odd, weren't they? Because you couldn't tell where they were coming from, if you see what I mean.
Yeah,
they were like sort of just there, and I can't explain it.
So
I just can't explain that. It were odd.
So I mean, this were another strange confirmation that we had from that spirit board, though, weren't it? The owner, because they lost a child by falling down and sadly losing its life, because it used to be an orphanage in World War II, after World War II. So it were an orphanage, and owner had a kid, and went down cellar and fell, and it sadly ended his life. Bless. He was that emotionally upset. He ended up capping and bricking walls, and the steps got the steps where where normally the children would go down were completely capped off. And so you go up these steps, a couple of steps, and all of a sudden there's just a brick wall.
Yeah.
The beach box one.
And like John said, to a certain part of area as well, there must be a big room capped off because it's like a square. There's a wall with an entrance that's just been blocked up completely. It's very strange. It was an interesting find, definitely.
Do you want to say hello to Michelle? Hi, Michelle. All the way over in the States. Hope you're okay, love. But yeah, it was.
There is something called Water's Memory.
Oh. Water's Memory.
You've only got to see where water ITC, though. People capture a lot of spirits, don't you, in it?
Well, to be honest with you, that's something that we should have actually done. We keep getting sometimes of these old methods, and water ITC, we've had some good results before. So we should have actually done some water ITC down here, Peter.
Yeah, but some obviously a lot with ITC, it's caught in the reflection of things, isn't it? But I've seen like water ITC, and the spirit looks pretty deep. You can tell it looks deep, like it's not on the surface of things. So maybe you get variations with it.
I mean, obviously, like any ITC, when it comes to water or even ghost boxes or apps, you're always going to get it could be this and it could be that. I mean, when it comes to water ITC, like you say, there's reflections from the side that you're looking at. Or there could be just common pareidolia where it makes probably what looks like a face.
Yeah, but
But-
I mean, I did wonder till and Leslie's seen them where people capture them in spectacles and that. You know what I mean? And it's not just, oh, is this my eyes playing tricks? It's like a proper formed face with like sometimes got glasses on and
Yeah.
like beards and you just know that you're looking at a
Oh,
spirit.
yeah.
You know, it's not
Definitely.
like
What you think
uh,
it might be.
a lucky formation
Yeah.
that might just look like somebody, and that's why I'm thinking it's a lot of times it's within the reflection within the light. So like when you're doing water ITC, you capture the surface, don't you, a lot? But like I said, I've seen them in that where they look like they're underwater sometimes. So
Yeah, I mean, this is where I'm coming at. I mean,
yeah,
that's why I like water ITC, because I've personally seen some pictures with some locations that we did, and it's like, wow, they look amazing.
Yeah,
How can you get water to form a brick wall in a face? You know,
I
it's,
know.
so yeah, and but like you said, then there's that side where if you look at it, it could be pareidolia, it could be water formation. You know, you're always going to get it, aren't you?
Yeah, you got to get it. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. There's always. I've seen some good stuff, some good results from it, and it makes you wonder. Wow, you can't really get that
No.
from waves of water.
No.
Leslie, what's your take on water ITC yourself? Have you done it personally yourself?
Well, if you remember me, you and your John went up to some old water troughs up at Grenoside in Sheffield a while ago.
Yeah.
And it were like it were meant to be, because we'd not taken anything to actually start stirring water up, but they were like a big long twig. So your John says, "Oh look," it says, a natural twig to do it with. Anyway, so your John were going round in water with this twig, and we could see horses' faces, and it were just amazing. Took loads of not screenshots, burst shots, and all these horses were. It was just brilliant. But I think my favourite capture of water spraying we ever got was at the Ye Old Bowling Green of that grumpy man. That were absolutely brilliant. His face was so clear. He were a grumpy man. It was just brilliant.
Yeah, and animals came through, and it used to be a butchery, didn't it? Or
it used to be a oh God, what do they call them?
Oh, what was it called?
Words
Abattoir.
Abattoir. That's it. I couldn't think.
It used to be an abattoir.
Yeah, it did. So it was fab. That was so good.
So yeah, I mean, a water trough, horses showing through it, you know, and there would have been horses. Yeah, so you know, it's incredible what you can actually get from something like that. Definitely.
And I'd rather get something like that in water or in glass, you know, like a solid, a solid body, I think, rather than smoke. Smoke's a bit wispy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And people will always question smoke ITC.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
I mean, it can be interesting. You can get interesting results, but people will always question it because it's wispy, isn't it? And that it's not like a solid body, is it?
Definitely. But I always. This is how I always. This is how I always see it. I mean, Hollow Man, right? That film is invisible. You know he's there, but he's invisible. But how do you show if whereabouts he is? You chuck water on him, or you chuck something that it's his body, so it can actually be shown. Now, it could smoke, but same thing.
Yeah.
Could it bounce off and show a figure, or show a part of that arm while you're taking a picture? You know, it's one of them. But then you can actually say, well, you know, smart formations, and it could look. It's like looking at a cloud and saying, "Oh, that's a turtle. It looks like a turtle."
Yeah.
So you've always got your swing and roundabouts, and smoke's always going to, like you rightly say, Peter, is going to be one at worst for people saying pareidolia.
Yeah.
Definitely. just like orbs.
Mm.
Orbs is just one big mess.
Yeah.
But there could be souls and spirits, but yet it could be reflections of bugs, rain, or whatever else.
Yeah.
You know, it's a nightmare.
Can I ask you, have you got an interesting ghost story amongst yourselves that maybe somebody's told you that makes you say, "Wow, what you know"? Have you got one
Ghost
of them?
stories. Oof.
Yeah, a real one that someone's told you. Oh, this happened, and it. Yeah, I've got one. What my sister had, but I don't know if you two have got any.
You go,
Um,
Peter. You go. Tell us.
Do you want me to tell you first while you think about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my sister, she moved out of this place and she went into this other place, and it were like this place. It were at Norfolk Park in Sheffield, that kind of area, quite near City Road Cemetery, just a bit over way there, and it were like a place where quite a lot of people stopped in. It lived in flatlets and that, and there were a lift in there, and sh- uh, where it lift came down, they were like to the side. They were like a place where people went in to have the dinner and eat and that. And she said lift opened, and this old woman got out, and she looked right glamorous. My sister says, like with sequin dress on and
oh
just
yeah.
like all earrings. And I said, what, like one of them film actresses, and she said, yeah. She said, just like proper old Bobby Dazzler type lady, And she spoke to her and she had a conversation with her. And then she said, "Oh, I'm just going in here. Just stay there. I'm coming back out for you in a bit." So she goes in, this woman, and then my sister goes in, like soon after, because no one had come out. And then she said, "Do you see that woman coming here?" Like, and yeah, no, nobody had seen her,
Wow.
but she'd vanished, like, no, yeah, and she'd not used back door. There were only one extra door out, but they said no, we hadn't seen anybody, and you couldn't miss anyone coming in. Uh, yeah, so it was like a full apparition of this lady, and she never came back out for my sister. So she went in and she weren't there, and nobody had seen her. So so
Wow.
it was like a full like interaction with a full-bodied ghost, and you do hear stories like that, don't you?
Well, I've got a story. It was when I was about 25, and I were expecting my eldest son, who is now 25, and I'd split up from. Well, his father had left me, and I was absolutely devastated. Anyway, so I used to go and stay at my mum's because I used to feel quite lonely, and I was probably about 8 months pregnant, so I was quite big, and I used to stop in my mum's spare room, and this particular night I was asleep and I woke up, and we got a neighbour who had passed away a few years previous, called Mrs. Ellis, and she used to come in and out of my mum's all the time when she was alive. She was quite a close friend of family, and she'd known my mum since she was 16, so she used to sort of look after her anyway. So I woke up this particular night after staying at my mum's, and Mrs. Ellis was sat on the edge of the bed, and she was stroking my head like, and she's saying to me, "You're going to be all right. You will be all right. You'll be fine. Everything will be all right." And I looked up at her, and it was like me looking at you guys, full, totally like a solid in solid form, sat rubbing my head, and then she just vanished, and I'm like, oh my god, have I just seen, and I thought I was dreaming at first, but it weren't a dream. It was as real as you can get, and it was just so touching, like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it was unbelievable that way.
Um.
Unbelievable.
Well, me myself, I don't know of any, but John's gonna tell a little story.
Yeah, it's a bit like Peter's actually. Hello everyone.
Hiya, John.
You all right? How you doing?
Where are you?
Great, thank you. And Christopher Irvine, I think he's got a story. That's good. There's no, that'll be it. But yeah, I've got, this is one, my friend who does security, he still does it to this day. And I think workers were working on a substation in the middle of nowhere, kind of thing. You know, proper like, going out towards Peak, you know, like Peak District, that kind of way.
Yeah.
There's a substation, and they've been working on it, so there's materials all around it. So he's parked up in van, and his job's to just look after it overnight.
Mm.
So he was doing that. It's cold, dark, so he's got headlights on, low, heaters on, engines running. That's it for night, you know. He gets out, walks around. Anyway, sometimes if passing by, other security guys turn up, and I think it was one of his colleagues or a manager or something like that pulled up, said, you know, I do, and he were out of the van. And so we were talking to him, everything was fine, and then that guy went on his way, and then night went on. But when he'd finished, the next day, the guy what visited him said, oh yeah, I went up and I met Simon. I met Simon.
Yeah.
And Simon and whoever else was sat in van. But there were only him there on that shift that night. And he said, who were it in van like? And Simon went, well, no one. And they went, oh, it doesn't matter if you brought someone along. Like, no. He goes, I don't do that, you know.
No.
We're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And he went, no, I want to say, if you have, it doesn't matter, like, you know. And he's like, is there like saying, no, seriously? And he goes, well,
yeah.
This guy had just plainly told other chap, like, you know, when they meet up and things like that.
Yeah.
Clearly, he was talking to him outside van, but he'd obviously looked over.
Yeah.
And seen someone sat in passenger side.
Aye.
And so to him, it was just, oh, you brought someone along.
Yeah. And you don't ask, do you? You just think, oh, somebody's there.
Someone's
a
there.
Work colleague.
Yeah. And then next day, he thought out on it and just went, oh, yeah, I went to see Simon on the way home. And whoever else were in van. Who were in van? And he was like, I'm on my own on that one. You know, to him, it was really confusing.
Yeah.
I know it's only a small thing, but
no.
My mate, well, it's all.
So that person seeing it, it's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, because he's like, well, in middle of nowhere, pitch black, freezing. There was no one else there. He don't.
So did you think, it could have been, John?
They just kind of left that.
Just left it as it were.
Yeah, other guys are going to think that he took someone along with him for a night for company or whatever. And Simon's like, no, I can't explain it, because he goes, if I had someone with me, he goes, it's not usually an issue with people. I'd just, whatever. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
He goes, literally, and he was telling me, as in, what could it be? And I went, I'll tell you what it is. He thought he saw someone in your transit van, pal. I went, it's rather that, or he were winding you up. He goes, yeah, but it's either we're just casually talking. He goes, it weren't a wind up, and it's gone nowhere. So we're wind up, it usually goes somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
Punchline, but he goes, he's left like confused, and others just probably think, hey, he had someone with him, like.
Yeah.
How many times does that happen? You know, like
I know.
You know,
it's like my sister. She talks to me about spiritual stuff, but she's not as much into paranormal as me. But see, that's happened to her, and she's not into paranormal. So there's so many stories about, isn't there?
That,
you know that your story and that story is never going to find a booker. Well, probably not though. Anyway, and
I have another story that I don't think I've told any of you this. I do keep forgetting about it, but it's just coming to my head now. When I was about, I'd say 23, I once went to this pub, and I'm sure they called it the Pheasant, and I'm sure it was up near the Norton. Is there a pub called Pheasant, Peter, up that way? The Norton.
You've asked me this before, Leslie.
I have.
Yeah.
I can't seem to find it, so I might have got it wrong. But anyway, so I went into this pub with a friend
It might be at It might be at Dronfield.
It might
I'm
be.
not sure. Might be.
Well, we
I can't-
went into this pub and it were in day, and we were
Yeah.
having a couple of beers, and as you do, and this chap come and sat down, and he was, just really genuinely friendly, and he was chatting away, and he was there, sat with us for about a good hour, and we got chatting, and he's saying, I had an heart operation. He showed us scar, and where he got a heart operation and this and that. And then he said, right, I'm just going to the toilet, and he sort of went. And then we didn't see him come back. He weren't saying, what's happened to it? But I can't remember what his name. I think he's got a nickname. I think it was something like Grizz or something. And we said, where's he gone? He said he was coming back. Anyway, he'd been gone ages. So we thought, right, well, we've got to go. So we went up to the bar to say thanks. And we said, have you seen where Grizz has gone? And they went, Grizz? Yeah. I said, he passed away years ago. Oh my God. It was totally strange. I was like, right, weird. But again, it was like as real as I look at you guys.
But that's great that you got that confirmation. A bit like ours were hanging a bit. John's and my story with my sister. You got that closure there, didn't you?
We were got smacked when they said we passed about 15 years ago or whatever. And I was like,
have you heard that one about that mining museum where there's a group of people and this old guy shows them round, and then I've heard it, and then at the end of it they like say, we've just been shown round by so and so, and they say, he died. And he actually showed them round and started giving them history and that.
The surface part of the museum.
I'm not totally sure, John. What
I forgot which one, National Mining Museum, or something like that. And I believe it's the toilet blocks where they used to get changed, and equipment blocks and stuff. And I think it happened around that bit.
Yeah.
From what I've heard. And
it seems to ring a bell.
Square down, they've been shown around by that guy.
Yeah.
Is that local to us then? Is it local?
I don't know if it's Wakefield.
Oh, so it's not too far away.
I'm not sure.
I had a feeling it were more Midlands. Like, is it not like? Is it not Stortway or something? I just had a feeling it were more.
It was that long ago when I went. I'm not going to be any good on this one.
All right.
Yeah, right. It were a long time ago. I know I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I can remember it. It's just, I can't remember where.
No.
But Von Hunter, I have experienced a full body operation. One story too long to type on here. The second is short, very similar to Leslie's. It's like we were saying, that how many times does it happen? And like Peter was saying, there's ones what are left hanging, and they'll never see light of day or an answer. We had a full body that would leave an old wardrobe at night. We would follow him and watch him go down the stairs. Yeah, you see some are probably just on a pattern, aren't they? Yeah.
I got a Facebook user who put, Peter, was that a shadow by your wardrobe? I'm not sure what he wrote here, but I think he might have seen a shadow behind me. But it's possible with me. You might have seen a shadow near me. Yeah.
Peter has had these things. Hello, Wayne.
Hello to Karen. Hiya, Karen. Hiya, Wayne.
I think Wayne actually.
Hiya, Karen.
Facebook and StreamYard seems to be falling out at the moment.
Yeah, there's a few things happening. So yeah, there's people. I mean, they have seen things like these, and it's like what Peter was saying. Some you'll never get an answer, and some like that one of Leslie's, it kind of got confirmed. So I know there's one in Wales, and everyone seems to go into this pub and go, oh yeah, I'm just talking to this eccentric looking chap dressed in old clothes and that. Just wandering around, talks a bit French, and owner at pub will just go, yeah, I'm sure you have. And that's it. That's all they say. But actually, it's a well-known ghost.
Yeah,
in that area.
Yeah, well-known.
Not all details, but I know. I'm sure I could find it. But I was reading it because we were going that way in Wales.
It'd be interesting, John, like what we were talking at Philip and Leslie and me about wells and that. See if there's a well under that pub.
Yeah,
Where that guy keeps turning up.
yeah, definitely.
Things like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one interesting thing since '97 when I got interested in occult subjects, different religions and paranormal. I've been going to a shop, and it's still open to this day in Rotherham, Mesmerise, and it sits in a place called Wellgate, and that place were built on something like 7 Linda knows. So like 7 or 9 wells on this road. Not one of them you can see to this day. Not one of them you can find. I think they're all underground.
Yeah.
Being capped up, probably capped or covered or whatever. But yeah, Karen was saying they're like, yeah, most old inns would have had wells there.
Yeah.
And like when you get names like Wumwell and
Yeah.
places like that, is that based on many
There will be
big
bits
wells?
in that, like where we live, it's made from red and marsh. Red in French, rouge, which turns to raw, and it becomes raw marsh.
Yeah.
Where I used to, when I was little, I used to live on a road called Wellney Place, right? And that had quite a lot of hauntings on there. And it was said that before it were ever built, all these houses, it used to be orchards and there used to be wells. So that's where they got the name Wellney Place from. So I wonder if that, like you said, adds to all activity there.
Yeah, it's
There
possible.
were loads of stuff. But, I mean, that's where I saw Mrs. Ellis on that road where what I told you about.
Oh, yeah.
And that house where I lived in my childhood home, the amount of activity in that house were absolutely unbelievable. It was totally off the chart. It was just, I'd love to be back in. I'd love to be able to be back in.
Well, where my sister saw that woman come out of that lift and that, it's quite near City Road Cemetery and also Manor Castle, and there's rumours that there's Tudor tunnels and that. So there's all sorts around there, really, all sorts.
Is that near Queen's Head Pub?
No, that's in centre Sheffield. I'm talking Manor Lane, where turret houses, but there's rumours that there were Tudor tunnels under there. So, and it's quite near actually.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, have anybody in comments seen a full apparition at all? We're going to have to get off in a minute, aren't we, guys?
Yeah.
If anybody's got
Just to add, the thing about Wumwell.
Yeah.
Historically, within the West Riding of Yorkshire, Wumwell, its name's origins mean Womber's well, or well in a hollow. And there's 2 collieries as well. Yeah. So yeah, Wumwell name. Womber's well, or well in a hollow. So yeah, all these names come from. Some names come from names of giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right, John.
Just had a knock at his door.
Just had some weird knocking on studio door.
How many?
Again?
2 that way.
Yeah,
2.
Yeah.
If anybody heard that at all, you might not have heard it because it's boiler, but
Might be able to play it back when you rerun it.
Yeah, let us know if you heard that banging behind John.
So we're on about 6:56, so it's around.
Stuff happens in that
time.
studio, doesn't it?
Yeah, things have happened in this studio. Things are going off, things moving. I'm not surprised. I mean,
we have got objects.
We've got a few objects in here as well.
Oh, somebody's just put. Daryl's just put. That was 3 knocks on my headphones, loud and clear.
Could be
Right,
3
thank
then.
you.
Yeah.
It could have been
Thanks,
3.
Daryl.
I might have missed 3rd one. To get it grabbed me, didn't grab me into attention. Like
Yeah.
I thought it were. It could have. I could have just missed first one. You know. Right. Thanks for that. Yeah. We'll look back at that.
Just because Facebook user anyway.
Yeah. Daryl, I think.
Oh,
It was Daryl. Daryl lives there.
Okay. Yeah.
Or lives there. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
Yeah. No, that's great.
And Von, Wunwell and Romarsh, not too far from me.
Oh, nice one. Nice one. Yeah. Yeah. We've been to Wunwell a few times. Definitely.
Isn't that where Convicts Tunnel is? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you haven't been to Wunwell Woods, I believe, Leslie.
I've only been to that area where tunnel is.
Ah.
We'll have to go there then, because
Yeah.
the woods itself's really good, and we did some scrying in the like little lake thing, what's in middle of Wunwell Woods. So, and that were actually quite interesting.
Are you hearing things again, John?
Yeah, those cliques at boiler, but that one were front roof this time. They'll be above us soon.
And it's not windy.
Maybe you're talking about something that it likes to hear.
Yeah, that's
You're
it.
talking about Wunwell and stuff, aren't you? At the minute?
Yeah. Von Hunter, Wunwell Woods is great.
Yeah.
And the Kingswell Woods, or is it Kingswell?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kingswell Woods. Very interesting. There's a legend of a blue lady there, and we asked someone to do a painting for that. And we've got that in his objects collection.
I think I've seen that, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Daryl's put Witcher's Nights, Phil. Do EVP near the door?
Yes, we will. We'll do that.
Might have to do a full-scale investigation at some point in this.
Yeah, that microphone you've got, that's really sensitive.
Yeah, like Von said though, these a lot of days where we went and not when we didn't get nothing at all, did we? But we've experienced some weird stuff though there when we've been. I mean, that field, weren't there?
Yeah.
With that big ball of light that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Across field, across from it.
That were weird. Yeah. It was just this big ball of light, and three of us saw it.
Kingswell Woods is not that far from Wunwell Woods. It's a district called Worsborough Common.
Yeah. I think there's a viaduct or something at the back of that woods.
Yeah. Actually,
feels quite elemental down there.
Yeah, if you put Kingswell Woods in YouTube, you'll have an interesting video there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, well, it's reached 7 o'clock now, everyone. So we're gonna have to get off now.
Yeah.
But it's been nice having a chat again and chatting with members in comments and that. So yeah.
Yeah, and debates will carry on at 7. It's just today we've been running a different schedule.
Yeah. So it's been It's been good that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We've got Team
thank you.
Paranormal are off out again next Sunday. An investigation. So yeah, we'll if we can get a signal, we'll try and do a live there. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a pub that's over 200 years old. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. So yeah, so thanks everyone again for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks to Peter for being our guest.
Thank you.
Cheers. For the background, and we'll catch you all later.
Yep. See you all. Bye. Bye.
Bye.